Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that little bell notification. We are working on a really cool project today. Alright, so we're going to do a little Q&A for Inside Psych while we paint rocks. The new series is we're going to be going around leaving inspirational rocks in honor of suicide prevention and just trying to make people's days with these. So we're going to start painting them. And then I will be answering questions you guys left on my Instagram for Inside Psych. I get asked all the time is, are you guys allowed to have phones there? And I've called several different places within my city. A lot of places you're allowed to, at ours you're not, and that's genuinely because we want you guys to focus on treatment, but a lot of our kids don't have phones that come there. Un momento. Okay, a lot of our kids don't have them that come there because they come from, this is a big mess, juvie. Or they come from other facilities where they just don't have their phones. We also want them to focus on treatment rather than their phones. A lot of kids say oh my god, I could never go to a psych hospital if I didn't have my phone. You take it. Not one kid in my hospital has ever complained. And TikTok got real pressed when I said, yeah, you can't have your phones there. And so I asked the kids actually at work one day, I was like, is it that big of a deal you guys don't have your phones? And not one single one of them cared because they understand the level of treatment they're at, and that for some of them, if they keep going, they're going to be at a PRTF. And so they understand that this is the Plan Z place for them to go. So a lot of them don't care. And they all agreed they could care less about their phones. In the 3+ years I've worked there, I don't think I've ever had anyone complain about not having their phone. Talk about ways I talk kids down from being in crisis. I think this is a really good question. I feel like every staff has their own way. I like to catch it early before they hit crisis. I like to talk to them, and once I start seeing that they're struggling, I'll go up and I'll start talking to them and try to distract them. Kind of do sight and sound things, it works really well with them. I'm okay, what can you see? What can you feel? What can you do? I get paper and I have them rip it, even though I hate the sound of paper. I suck it up for them. Or I just listen, because a lot of these kids, when you're in crisis, they just want someone to listen and want to feel like someone is there, and that's what I do. I feel do the best at is I'm very good at, I think it's called TST, trauma something. Anyway, you talk them down, and I'm really good at that. That's one of my favorite parts of the job. But you have to teach them that trust is earned, it's not given. So I work hard on earning all of their trust. Another thing that I help with the kids is I pay really close attention to what helps them, and I try to come up with new coping skills for them. I saw once that a kid had a blanket that they really didn't want to let go of, and they weren't allowed to take it on the unit. So we found something a small blanket on the unit that they could have and take home that would kind of replace the unit blanket, because those are bigger. It's really a lot of just working with the kids and seeing what helps them more. I did a TikTok on it today. There's actually something I do with the really aggressive kids. I will move a mattress into the safe room and let them punch it as many times as they need. That really helps them. It gets out their anger. It helps them when they're really upset. Do staff really talk to each other? I don't know if this is a good side or a bad side. If I ever see staff talking about a kid in a not good way, I end that conversation as fast as I can, because that's not fair to the kid. For the most part, if we're talking about a kid there, it's updating someone about hey, their triggers are different now, or hey, they've had a really bad day, you need to be cautious, don't turn your back, that kind of thing. Everyone who works at mine, at least, knows pretty well that the kids are there for a reason, and it would just be really crappy if you shit talk them. If you start shit talking a client, that's the biggest way to lose my respect, because you know why the kid is there, because we're told, and you're choosing to talk about them in a way that's not appropriate. I don't know. Whenever I hear someone that's kind of talking trash on a kid, and it's only happened a couple times, I'll end that conversation, but then I stick up for the kid, and I'm yeah, you're not going to do this. It's just not fair to the kid, But for the most part, at least at ours, I would say that they don't really talk about the kids bad. It's more of, when we do talk, oh my god, I'm getting this all over my hands. It's when we do talk, it's more about updating each other about what's the situation. I don't know anything about adult psych. I've never worked in adult psych. I've never been in an inpatient facility as an adult or a minor. So I can't speak at all on adult psych, period. Can I talk about my mental health? I think that's a really good question. I don't really share too much about mine. I have really bad anxiety, but what I've learned over the past few years is I've been diagnosed with OCD, which I never thought I had, but it's like little things I do that like they were able to like find that I had it. A lot of repetitive behaviors like touching a doorknob a certain amount of times, or just repeatedly saying stuff over and over, or controlling times and stuff. And what else do I do? The biggest thing was touching things over and over, or like doing things over and over and over again. And I never really thought of it. I just thought like, oh, like I just do this. But actually the way we found it was when I started working at the psych hospital, one of them, the doctor was like, do you have OCD? And I was like, no. And he's like, you should go see your doctor. I think you do. And I was like, there's no way. And they were kind of explaining like what it is. And yeah. I don't take medicine though, because I do take propranolol. I was on propranolol, now I'm on metoprolol, and it wasn't really working with the heart meds. So, oh my gosh, this one's slippery. I'm getting this all over my hands. So I don't really take medicine right now, even though I feel like I need to be put back on it. We had to figure out the heart stuff first. So someone asks, can you hug a patient after a meltdown or a night terror? I don't hug. I am one of the people on this planet that hate physical touch. Hate it. Do not touch me. So when a kid asks for a hug, I will suck it up and give them a side hug. However, we are taught, and I agree, you shouldn't do full on like hugs. It's inappropriate, especially if it's a different gender. But just for everyone's safety, we just stick to side hugs. I'm big into, let's come up with a secret handshake that only us, like, we know. And then the kid, it's special to the kid. And then it's more of a way of like, they've calmed down. Okay, let's do our secret handshake, that kind of thing. But for the most part, no, we don't do really big hugs. What's the most rewarding thing about my job? I would say the most rewarding thing, like absolutely rewarding, is when a kid is struggling, and I would say when a kid is struggling and you earn their trust. You show them that you're not going to leave their side, and they're able to confide in you and trust you, and you become their safe person. And then when they discharge, you know they're going to do better. Like, you know you've done everything you can. You prep them for the best they will do. Like, that's the most rewarding part. There's several kids that like I've worked really, really, really hard with. I mean, I work hard with all of them, but like I really came in on off days just for these kids so that they could learn about trust and like that there are good people in the world because they've had really hard stories. And I would say by the end of their stay, they were a completely different kid because we were able to get through to them. That's the most rewarding part of the whole job. One attempt. Here's what I say on social media all the time, and in theory, this is what it should be, and this is how I look at it. I've never had a kid attempt and how to go to the ER when I was there. But if every staff is doing their job and truly watching the kid and working hard, no one should ever get close enough to having an attempt, going to the ER, or needing any medical treatment. Everyone should have eyes on their kids at all times. And I'm very, very strict about that. Like, you must work hard, and you must, like, we are there for the kids. You're not there to just have social hour. You're there because these kids need you, so watch them. So I'm very, like, about that. Alright guys, we are going to wrap this up. My camera's dying. We will do a part 2 to your questions. I love you guys. Remember, it might be a bad day, month, year, but it's not a bad line. Bye!